That's why I wanted to switch.
All right, I'd like to bring this meeting to order, and I appreciate everyone for coming tonight. Thank you so much, folks here, and that's right, put your microphones on and on Zoom. Anyway, Matt, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I appreciate it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One change that I made that the board might see is that I'm changed around public participation to put that before the consent agenda, just because I want to provide folks as soon as possible, because other folks have things to do and they want to go and so on and so forth. So I did that, but can I have someone move to approve of the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Public participation, is there any, thank you. I don't know if there's anyone that wants to speak. Okay, we have Alan Holstein.
No, I'm gonna pass. I'm speaking, I just signed in.
You just had me say that? No, that's cool. All right, well, thank you, and I know that you may work with the trail committee, so we'll see. There, so, no public participation tonight. Is there anyone online? Seeing nothing, we'll move ahead. I'd like to ask for approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second it.
Is there any discussion concerning the agenda?
Everything looked good in there to me.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimously. All right. And I'd like to also approve the, well, that was all part of the consent agenda, so we can move on. Action items and board comments. We have some action items tonight. If Casey could give us information on the first one, which happens to be the Riverfront Reimagined project.
Well, I can give you what Clay gave to me. Katie McFall, who's with Phase Newberg, was supposed to give a presentation tonight, and she is ill and cannot do that. She had asked to do a kind of an update in October. Clay's request is for discussion. This has been going on for a while, and I'll defer to Brian because he's been more involved with this. Phase 1 was a 9-month planning process that they went through with technical assistance from Travel Oregon staff and consultants. And that developed the project and the vision and everything for the Phase 2. And then Phase 2, participation is limited to projects that successfully completed Phase 1. And they were assessed by Travel Oregon to determine eligibility and advancement to Phase 2. And Taste Newberg, on our behalf, applied for this funding to fund partially the Riverfront Reimagined program. It proposed to evaluate and create new river access for the district and for Yamhill County, with goals of enhancing recreational opportunities for residents, visitors, diversifying the region's tourism offerings, and improving accessibility for individuals with diverse abilities. Based on the completion of Phase 1, and findings from Travel Oregon, the Riverfront Reimagine project is eligible for funding within Phase 2 of the Recreation Ready program. Travel Oregon and the consultant team recommended an action plan to effectively move the project forward with Phase 2 funding support within the Riverfront Reimagine feasibility report. And all this is in your board packet. The report's Phase 2 action plan recommends that CPRD identify and retain a consulting firm to provide analysis and site planning to develop regional river access facility, providing an accessible non-motorized launch and landing area at the undeveloped Willamette River frontage at CPRD's Highway 219 property. The recommended study would fill a technical study gap while staff work to align other elements required for future site development to proceed, such as a district master plan update, zone change, and other issues which are expected to be more long-term in nature. Further, the recommended action would allow for technical evaluation of the site's key feature, access to the Willamette River. Through community engagement, visitor trend analysis, and expert consultation on disability inclusion, the report also identified opportunities and constraints associated with development of additional river access, according to the report. Strong community support, Oregon's favorable perception for water recreation, and potential economic diversification. Constraints involve addressing environmental concerns, visitor expectations, and accessibility gaps. Site evaluations focus on Rogers Landing County Park, the decommissioned City of Newberg landfill, and the Highway 219 river launch site, and outline site-specific considerations. An action plan for Phase 2 funding is provided to advance this project toward implementation by focusing on feasibility analysis, stakeholder engagement, and collaborative planning. This project has the potential to transform Newberg's riverfront, creating a vibrant, inclusive recreation destination. The report recommended sharing available grant funds, $44,000 for a technical study of the launch area for CPRD's Highway 219 property, $44,000 for analysis and site planning for non-motorized launch area at Yamhill County's Rogers Landing Park, and $12,000 for project management by Taste Newberg. It is recommended that CPRD staff continue working closely with Taste Newberg to design a new accessible water trail access point near the 219 and the Willamette River on property already owned by CPRD. The proposed memorandum of understanding between CPRD and Taste Newberg will set forth the rights and obligations of both parties to ensure that key tasks are completed on time and within budget. And his recommendation was for the board to provide a motion to approve a memorandum of understanding with Taste Newberg for Phase 2 of the Recreation Ready Grant Program, and a motion to authorize staff to utilize a grant award allocation of $44,000 and expend an additional $36,000 for professional services associated with Phase 2 of the Recreation Grant Program. Fiscal impact. The proposed actions would result in additional expenditures in the amount of $36,000 from the general fund's acquisition and improvement. The proposed expenditures are not budgeted, but money sufficient for the activities are available within the district's financial resources. And in the board packet attached are the Riverfront Reimagined Feasibility Report and the memorandum, a draft of the memorandum of understanding. Does that cover that for you?
Yeah, now, I know that the project focused on the properties that we had. When I say we, I mean CPRD and the county as well. And that's Rogers Landing, the 219, and then the decommissioned landfill sites. Does this memorandum, if we agree to this, does this limit everything we do to those 3 sites? Should things change? As we know, things tend to change pretty quickly. Do we know anything about that?
Brian can answer some of
Yeah.
these.
Yes.
It limits us to that. Okay.
Yeah, this grant is particular to the 2 sites that were chosen.
And if
There is,
But it doesn't limit what you can do in other aspects of those areas.
right. So let's say one of these becomes very, very plausible or doable. For example, I know when I attended the Travel Oregon presentation, they were very excited about the 219 site. That's also right now the least accessible of all of them because of the traffic issues associated with it. Let's say that the traffic issues somehow resolved, like ODOT came in and said, we're gonna put in a stoplight there, and all of a sudden we could access it. What is the best case scenario with this sort of a program? Like what's the financial implications for us should one of these sites be able to move forward? Is there like a large grant sum that we could potentially win or earn through this? Or could you elaborate on that a little bit?
it has been explained that there are future grants, and they just released one yesterday, and it's very similar to this one right here, that possibly we could apply for or participate in for another site that could possibly come up for waterfront. But unlikely, that would be challenging maybe that you already have 2 in Yamhill County out of the state that received 1 from Travel Oregon. But in answer to your question, I think it was conveyed to us that with working with these groups, there could be future grants available to keep pushing these projects forward because it's a very high priority on Travel Oregon's grant list to offer or produce more river access throughout the state, which is very lacking and is very high on everyone's list in terms of, would love to see that happen as far as residents in the state.
And the focus was primarily on non-motorized
Correct.
access.
And river trails,
And trails,
is how they designated it.
Yeah.
Which there's a great opportunity for that throughout Yamhill County. We're sitting really nice with some of the opportunities that do exist between Shampooey and Rogers Landing and then either further up the river. So.
Okay.
Is there a reason why we're including Yamhill County's property in this, if it's not a Shale and Parks and Rec property?
That was a separate, that was awarded half of the grant, the $100,000, totally separate.
Okay.
Totally separate, view it as a separate project per se.
Yeah.
So they are working with Yamhill County and.
Oh, they are?
And Travis directly, absolutely.
Okay.
Pushing that project forward and using that, developing their own feasibility study and working there.
Okay.
With the same amount of funds that CPRD has an opportunity to receive and proceed with this one.
I got
And
it.
they would actually, if you think about it, connect, you could, how cool would that be to be able
Yeah.
to connect all those?
Yeah.
So specifically, this is for the 219 property.
Correct.
With that said, the information that we glean from this may be able to be used on other properties or other possibilities, let's say,
Correct.
on the river. So the information that we get from this is gonna help us if all of a sudden this doesn't work and there's another side of the river, at least we've got some background and so on. And I'm always an advocate when you're looking at grant money. I'm not gonna, sometimes there's strings involved, but the reality is that we have that now. There's a real interest in the river, and it's an amazing natural resource for our county and for people to be able to use. So, usually I would like to have discussion after the, we approve the motion, the motions are approved, but, we can have it now, that's fine. Is there any more questions about this before I?
So this if we're gonna vote on something, we're specifically only gonna be voting on the 219 property, is that correct?
Correct, it's gonna be
Nothing else.
used, but I would assume that the county
Yeah.
and the city and other parties that may be involved will also like to have this information
Benefit.
for anything they may do down the road, and vice versa with what they're doing. And so,
And then
that's
also
kinda-
part of it, are they looking at Rogers Landing as well?
Yeah, that's the,
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So they're they're working with the county on Rogers Landing, doing a feasibility study and looking for improvements for non-motorized launching there, using that site, which is fantastic, and doing the same thing at the 219 property with this grant. And we're looking to just being able to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Taste Newberg, who's going to handle the funds, and they receive the grant directly. And then with the understanding that CPRD to fully fund the feasibility study or a continuous study would grant up to $36,000 out of our fund.
Okay, questions? Any other questions or comments?
No questions, but probably just for clarification, especially for the public. My understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is the grant was awarded for the idea of river access, and CPRD is choosing to use that grant toward a feasibility study to make sure that that's possible. But because they don't suspect that that study could be only $44,000, they're taking money out of the acquisition general fund budget up to $36,000 to help fully fund the feasibility. So it's almost like we're really theoretically only paying for half of a feasibility study. Once we receive that, then it's a whole new discussion.
Okay. So I need someone to make a motion to approve staff to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Taste of Newberg.
I make a motion as so stated.
I'll second it.
Okay, can I have a voice vote on this for Kat?
Roll call vote. Director Fields,
Aye.
Director Conan,
Aye.
Chairman McMaster,
Aye.
Director Slider,
Aye.
Director Smith.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, then our second motion will be to approve authorization to receive a grant award of $44,000 and expend up to $36,000 for professional services associated with the Phase 2 of the Recreation Ready program. And this is in our board packet as stated. I need someone,
I'll make a motion as stated.
A
I'll
second.
Go for it. Got it?
Yeah.
do you have that, Kat?
All right, yes. All right, Director Fields,
Aye.
Director Conan,
Aye.
Chairman McMaster,
Aye.
Director Slider,
Aye.
Director Smith.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, great. Maybe one day we'll be able to get on that water. We'll see. Okay, next up is our golf course. And we'll have discussion after I read this. But approve a contract for consultant services. And if I've mispronounced this, I apologize. With YA Group Ankrum Mosen for Golf Course Clubhouse feasibility study in the amount not to exceed $160,000. So I would need a motion to approve that in a second, and then we can have discussion.
All right, I make a motion as stated.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
It's about friggin' time we need to do this.
I do, yeah. I have a couple of thoughts.
Okay,
Sorry, go ahead.
so you'd like to speak, so what do you want to, that's it?
That's all I got to say. It's about
That's kind of
time.
what I thought.
Okay, Brandon?
Sure. Yeah. Once again, just for clarification, the feasibility study was funded by a $5 surcharge, correct? That was put on the golf course that was
every
collected.
user of the golf course.
So just so the public is aware, this money is coming from something set
Golf course.
aside specifically for that from the golf course. which I think is helpful when people ever get confused about how tax dollars are used. Second, I did have a question for either Kellen or Casey. I noticed that one particular bid was very high scoring, and then there was a second one that scored slightly lower, but then the second one scored higher in the interview. Are you able to explain what happened in the interview that really stood out?
Three of us did the overall look at the RFPs that were submitted, and two of us came up with ties, and one person scored another one higher. Then, because of that, we still had questions, so we invited both of those parties to an interview process. And during that interview, I think a lot of things were answered. They were asked the same questions. There was more response from Ankrum Moisen than the other party. Scott Edwards Architecture was the other one. And we felt, after that interview process, all three of us felt that Ankrum was the one that met the needs of the golf course feasibility study.
Thank you.
Short and sweet.
Yep.
And that was a staff interview?
That was
Three on the panel.
Clay and Kellen and myself. And thank you to the Golf Course Clubhouse Committee for recommending and helping this go through the Park District. All of you.
And so, did I read correctly that the goal is to have this feasibility study finished by January or February 2026?
Yeah, it's February, March, yeah,
In there, okay.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, I appreciate you putting the evaluation rubric here in the board packet, and yeah, I thought the presentation that was in here as well from Ankrum Moisen was impressive, and that a really impressive resume. So thank you guys.
Yeah, they both had very impressive resumes and key members of their team, but we just felt that one was a little bit more than the other.
Okay, so any other discussion? We have Michael here.
Michael Vaughn.
And he is with the YA group, and we appreciate you being here. And I did read through it, what you presented, and I'm excited to get this going. I know the committee worked hard for this. Do you have anything you'd like to say before I continue about your group and what you did and what you're going to do?
Well, I'd like to share that I'm.
Yeah, microphone, sorry.
Please introduce your full name for the record.
Sure. Michael Bond, I'm an architect. I live in Sherwood, Oregon. And I would like to say how appreciative we are for the opportunity. We knew we were up against other very good teams. And we put our best foot forward. And I don't think you'll find a team that's more excited or more invested in this project than we are. The story I put in the beginning of our proposal is that my son, who ultimately became a Division I golfer, started his career at Chehalem Glen Golf Course as a junior golfer. And he works there. Today was his last day. He just got a job after graduating from college, and he's going to be a mechanical engineer. But he's spent many, many hours at Chehalem Glen. I've walked the course countless times watching junior golf tournaments, and recently he won the club championship. So my family is all about Chehalem Glen Golf Course, and our team is very excited to be involved. So thank you for the opportunity.
Does anyone have questions? I've got a few things that I'd like to bring out, because this is a big step for our park district, and it was a big step for the initial building of the golf course, and it's been highly successful and great economic driver for our community, and people that play it say it's very difficult, but they enjoy it. But with that said, the RFP that was put out by the staff, I think, was very thorough, and I appreciate the staff for doing what they did to get this out, as well as the golf course committee. But the one thing I believe that we do need a new golf course clubhouse. But I also hope and know that you will give us the facts as a district that, I'm concerned about funding of the project. Will we need to go to a general obligation bond, thus a vote of the people? Will we go to a revenue bond? We'll need to justify it to the public, all that you bring. And I know and I hope that when you come to us with the final conclusions, you're bringing to us facts saying, well, no, you don't need another 9, you can do with what you have. Yes, you do need another 9, and this is the revenue that I'll bring in to support this clubhouse. We don't need to have an event center here as part of the clubhouse. We just need a clubhouse with a good eating establishment and so on. Those type of things are real important specifically to me, because at the end of the day, our taxpayers will be supporting this. So just putting that out there. I know you've already thought about that.
Yeah, and Clay made that very clear throughout the process.
Good.
It's not a find out a way to make it work. It's find out what will work. And that's why we've got an economic expert from our region and a golf course expert on our team to help us make thoughtful decisions that are based in fact, or as best as we can projecting forward, and not base it on what we would maybe like to see personally or emotionally for the course, but really making an effort to provide you all with the information you need to make critical decisions about how to spend taxpayer dollars if that's what it requires.
I appreciate it. I really do, and that's what we're looking for, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, folks? All right. So, we have a motion to approve contract for consultant services with YA Ankrum Moisen for golf course clubhouse feasibility study in an amount not to exceed $160,000. Would someone like to make that motion?
I move as so stated.
I'll second it.
Okay, can I have a voice vote here?
Director Fields,
Aye.
Director Conan, Chairman McMaster,
Aye.
Director Slider,
Aye.
Director Smith.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Again, thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
Good luck, it's gonna be a lot of work, appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, next we have up is board comments. Brandon, can we start with you?
Sure. I would like to express my thanks to the staff who put together the staff reports in the board packet. So for the public, you have access to these packets on the website. And if there's a particular area that you're interested in, I recommend skimming through towards the end. Staff give reports on like the pool center and the senior center. So thank you to all of them. And I know, Brian and Julie, I know you probably encouraged them to do that, but yeah, thank you for that. I enjoy reading them.
Matt?
I think we kind of already moved through this Riverfront Reimagined project, but just to focus on the river a little bit more, I think the communities of Dundee and Newberg are going to be growing towards the river. I think that's the future of these communities as well as this park district. We have some incredible pieces of land. The untapped potential is pretty incredible. I also believe that one of our board's priorities a couple years ago was the reinstitution of some sort of a paddle launch. I think it's absolutely vital. And I can say that now as a boat owner. I'm at Rogers Landing a lot, and Rogers Landing is just
It's a zoo.
it's very heavily used because it's the only thing we have in this area. So for safety, for the expected growth that we're going to see in our communities in Newberg and Dundee, and for having a dedicated area for paddle launch, I think is going to be absolutely vital. So I'm excited about this project, but I think as a district we really have to focus on how we're going to have a role in the expansion of Newberg and Dundee. When it happens, it will happen fast, so we need to be prepared for it. We need to know how we're going to properly interconnect some of these parks. As we know, we have, the county has land with kind of a little wedge in the middle of some private land as well, between the landfill and Rogers Landing. You know, we've always wanted to resurrect the paddle launch in Dundee. I think that's a great idea too. And then everything else that will happen, developing the river all the way down to the 219 bridge. So I think part of this is going to be constant communication with the city of Newberg, the city of Dundee, following their UGB expansion, following their development, as well as everything else that goes into this Taste of Newberg or Travel Oregon program. So that's all I got.
Jason?
You know, I've spent the last few days walking through Newberg and Dundee, talking to business owners about what's important to them, and what they're telling me is they would like to bring more people into Newberg and Dundee to enjoy what we have to offer, whether that's tasting wine, whether that's the little shops, whether that's to come to our parks. And, you know, we talk about money and how much money we have to spend on our parks. And, you know, I sit in the budget committee, both for Yamhill County as well as for CPRD. And one of the challenges we have is the fact that we have limited amount of resources. And, you know, I can tell you as somebody who's knocked on tens of thousands of doors, the people that live in Yamhill County and other places here in Oregon, they cannot afford additional taxes, additional levies, these sorts of things. So I was thinking in my mind, what could we do as a you know, Chehalis Parks and Rec, what could we do maybe with our county to produce, find a way of producing income? And so I had this idea, and I ran this by a few people that I stopped and I spoke to, business owners. And what that is, you know, we tried to purchase the old landfill property for a bicycle use, and it just didn't quite work out for what we wanted to spend and what Yamhill County was thinking they would like to have for it. But I came up with a crazy alternative idea, and it's something that I hope to run by our county commissioners. So, but I did talk to a couple of the parks people, and what that idea is what I think we could do, use here in Yamhill County is an amphitheater. And if you could imagine, I'm just talking out loud here, but if you could imagine Yamhill County deciding to lease us the property for $1, okay? And then we use our expertise, our people, to go after grants in ways to build an amphitheater, and then we share in the profits from this amphitheater to help pay for, Yamhill County can use it for wherever they want, whether it's gonna be used for parks or to fill gaps in the budget. And then we use it to help pay for our parks and the cost of employees and the cost of insurance and all of that. We would be bringing people in from all outside of Yamhill County, outside of the state potentially. They would be visiting our shops, our restaurants, they'd be staying in our hotels. It'd be a way of bringing in dollars and having people from the outside bringing their dollars to us to pay for the services that we provide. So I just think it's something that we should consider, if, at the very least, talking about it sometime in the future. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today.
Okay.
And one more thing here. As we talk about providing new parks, as we talk about providing different amenities within Yamhill County, I want to know, are we going to be talking about a usage charge on these new parks? Because that may be another way we have to, I mean, I don't like usage charges, but on the other hand, you know, we're worried about what's it going to cost to build this golf course, okay? Is it going to cost us $6 million? $6 million is a drop in the hat compared to $78 or $79 million for a trail. And so I want to make sure that these are things that we are considering when we're talking about, golly, this is a lot of money we're gonna spend on a trail. And this is a lot of money we're gonna spend and where are we will never get a dime for CPRD out of a trail. It will not generate a single dime. It is something that's important, and I am for trails. I wanna make that clear. I am absolutely for trails. But we have to decide what our priorities gonna be. So, and what's important to the public.
What trail are you referring to specifically with that $79 million figure? Because I think that was just a very
$79 million to get from Dundee to Fred Meyer's.
I don't think that figure has anything to do with that trail specifically.
Okay?
Yeah, it's just when you guys set your goals, when you and Matt were elected, that figure got put in $79 million for trails across the county with no date on it, no specific trail. So
Well, you know what, I'll tell you this, in our last meeting, I did ask for a specific, what does this include? And unfortunately,
Well, I don't want to interrupt,
Or
but
super
I don't want to
here.
speculate either.
yeah,
So let's just make sure we get the facts, so
Yeah.
I think we can move on that subject, if that's okay with you guys.
yeah, sounds good.
Nick, what you got?
only thing I have is I thought that at our last meeting, Ed came in and made a great presentation about the Ewing Young Bridge, and the county got back to us in the addendum with the explanation as to the appeals and some more information on that. Very helpful, so thank you for the county on that. But I don't want the Ewing Young Bridge subject to be dropped. I think at the last meeting, Clay said that sort of the next step is neighborhood outreach. And so in October, I know everyone's is busy, but I'd like to have a little bit of a direct plan moving forward of what is that outreach going to look like, what's the timeline, what's the goal of it, that sort of thing.
Good?
Yep.
So anyway, the one thing is that the correspondence did come from the county, and I was going to put it on the agenda today, but because it came late, it came at 10 o'clock this morning, I'm not sure everybody read it, so we will talk about it at our next meeting. I'm going to put the Ewing Young Bridge on the agenda for the next meeting and talk about the correspondence. But I do appreciate the county getting back on that, but I haven't been able to read through it thoroughly because of the time we got it, but I do appreciate that. One of the other things I wanted to bring up, and I hear so often, is private property rights. And I just want everyone to understand, and I want the public to understand, that the Chehalem Park and Recreation District has never taken anyone's private property. And we have never been interested in doing that. But it comes up periodically, and I just wanted to be clear that we are not in the business of taking and using private property. So I just wanted to make that clear to everyone, because it comes up every once in a while, and I don't like hearing it because it's not true. So I just thought I had to say that. The other thing is when we speak of trails nationally are the #1 recreational activity. And I think you had a good point that they don't bring you any money as in a fee. But what they do bring to all the communities that have them is they bring in livability, a place where people can walk safely, can jog safely. And if you look at any of the surveys that are out there nationally, you'll see that in most towns that are progressive, they want more people to come to their town, they want economic viability within those communities and or within our district, are building trails, whether they be river trails, whether they be trails in the town, whether they be trails to our stream corridors, whether there be a trail around the golf course that we have right now, around Ewing Young Park that everyone uses and everyone loves. Those are important to our community and for people that are moving in. And with that said, I'll end with this. I am really excited as a taxpayer in this county, in this district, to see that we are putting out a survey to the general public. We're putting out this flyer, which I have talked about for years to get out, and it also has a QR code here that takes you to a survey that asks our constituents, what do you like, what don't you like, what do we need, what, and so on. And I think that is so amazing to do and be able to get that feedback back to us in a way that's just, hey, what do you like, what don't you like, what do we need? So for the staff to put this together, thank you so much. I think it's gonna be great information. Can I ask when this may be
It's out.
tabulated in it?
Well, it's out.
I know it's out, but when do you think it'll be tabulated and done?
Yeah, thank you. So we were going to discuss this later in the agenda, but we can give you the update now. So what Chairman McMaster is referring to is there is a community interest survey that is going out to all households throughout our district. That's Newberg and Dundee. It's going out beginning this week, and depending on where you live, you may get it as early as tomorrow, definitely by early next week. And this is designed to take in your feedback on our existing amenities and parks, our services, our level of service, and your desires for additional improvements, critiques, all of your input. That is what that's for. So you can take it right now by going to our website. There is a link that will take you directly to that survey in SurveyMonkey. Or you can wait for the direct mail piece to come to you with a QR code to take you directly to that survey and SurveyMonkey. You can also pick up a printed copy if you would prefer. They are already stacked at all of our major facilities, the golf course, the aquatic and fitness center, and some others. So, any
It's awesome.
questions?
Thank you so much for doing that, and I think that I'm excited. I know the staff's probably excited too to say, hey, how do people really feel about us, and what do they really want? And we'll find those things out, and that'll be amazing. So with that said, we'll go on to,
I have a quick question here real quick in regards to something you were talking about. As far as, how long has it been since we've been working on this Ewing Young Bridge?
okay, you know what? I don't want to.
No, I just have one quick question. I just want to make sure if we have an updated price for what that bridge is gonna cost.
I think we're out of order right now, and I think that we can bring that to the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay? All right, thanks. Old business, citizens advisory updates, Chehalem Heritage Trails. Yeah, if you go to the podium and introduce yourself and give us your address and,
Yeah, you can both go up there, yeah.
yeah.
They get 6 minutes?
Hi, my name is Bob Freshman. I'm a member of the Heritage Trails Committee, and
This is Sakina.
what other information that you need?
You're good.
Good. And we just wanted to update people on what the Heritage Trails Committee has been doing. What we spent the most time on in the last few months has been to finalize a signage and trail mapping for Bob and Chris O'Reilly Park. It's got 14 miles of trails, really no way to know where you are until you've been up there and walk around a lot. So we essentially walked pretty much every foot of every trail in that park. It gives you a whole different perspective than looking on a map and seeing what's there. We also wanted to validate the distances that were actually done by the previous Trails Committee to make sure they were accurate. And we wanted to identify the key loops that we would have on the map. Also, we'd have there are basically 3 key loops on four key loops on the west side and 1 on the east side trails. Excuse me. Staff that we've worked with, Ryan and his crew, have been incredible in helping us with this project. Just really could not have done it without their help. And how many signposts are up now, Brian? A couple hundred? Yeah, a couple hundred. There's already about 200 marker posts, these heavy plastic, this wide, this tall posts that will end up having signage on them, showing distances, trail names, how do you get to the parking lot? Is it a steep hill up ahead? Just so people have some idea when they're walking the park. And that will correspond to a printed map that they can pick up with the same trail names, same information, which will be at the park. And also a large map at both the upper and lower parking lot showing that information. So we're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. I hike up there almost daily. Number one thing I'm asked by people is, where should I walk? They have no clue. So I'm always glad to give them suggestions, but we're very excited about finalizing this. We've already reviewed and turned in our approvals on the distances and everything to staff. So we're really waiting for the final draft from staff to review at our meeting in October. And we hope that shortly after that, we can start with the maps and get those things done. So that's been a big part of what we've done. There's also a memorial bench to Russ Sheehan. I don't know for those folks that maybe haven't been in the park for a long time, but Russ was instrumental in both creating and upgrading and maintaining so many of the trails in the park. He was a CPRD employee who passed away about 2 years ago. So there's a great bench that we have now. They'll have a plaque on it for Russ. And we also have recommended to staff that the East Side Trail Loop is called Russ's Loop also as well. So we appreciate all the work that he's done and all the work that current staff has done as well. Really, I'm not going to talk about the Ewing Young Bridge because that's already been talked about, and the same with the bypass trail. There's really no reason to go into any information on that. Also, there is, why don't you go ahead?
Well, because we have 2 new members join us, and we kind of revisit again what are our roles. So we have discussed in the last meeting about the public meetings, what role are we are, what can we do. So we got Kat Ricker, thank you so much to giving us descriptions of what we can do in terms of communication via emails. We can talk, but we cannot make decision and such. So we all 7 committees now understand and on board. I want to back again on Bob and Crystal Bradley Park. Since we're now working on map, we also planning in terms of segment on each loop. Maybe we name that segment or loops based on, could be a fundraising, you know, if someone donate enough money, could be commemorate to name that loop under that person name. So that is an agenda for us to make decisions onto that.
Good idea.
I don't have anything else to add.
That's all, yes. If you have any questions?
Yeah, I appreciate the work you're doing. But some housekeeping, could you guys let Kat know who is speaking, give her your name and so on and so forth? Did you already do that? Or?
They did that, yeah.
Okay, sorry, right. But I appreciate what you're doing up there. And I hiked it with you one day and done several others.
Yes.
It's great up there.
Anyway, I think all of us in the committee, we had a great group. We worked very well together. And I can just say personally, I really I've learned a lot and enjoyed the process so far. So we hope to continue making positive contributions.
Any other questions from the board?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the golf course development, we talked about that a little bit and made a major decision tonight, but the golf course committee is not here. Is there anyone here from the golf course committee? So we will move on then. Pickleball committee? Anything?
No one's here.
Don't think
No
they're
updates.
meeting.
Pickleball committee hasn't met the last 2 months, just because construction's been started on Jakewith, and I think they are on the calendar to meet on Monday I haven't heard anything from any of the committee members. I will reach out to see if they still plan on meeting. My guess is that will likely be canceled, but I will get that information to you as soon as I have it, Kat.
Thank you.
Okay, next is up the superintendent's report, project updates.
Yeah, I guess I'm not, my name's Clay, but not
You're the
really.
man, Clay.
These are notes that Clay left me. So first, finance update. The auditors were here during the week, and I don't think they're absolutely finished with the audit from the '24 audit, but they should get something back to us by October. And Clay's, we're gonna send out RFP for competitive quotes for auditing services. So we can evaluate service alternatives other than we're currently contracted with. So that will be, and then they can start on the ―25 audit. And that'll catch us all up to date instead of being 3 years behind. Jakewood Park Court Rehabilitation Project. You know, one of the things that the city did was put a condition on that park project and to prevent noise elsewhere. And we've going to go back to the city with a land use and kind of propose to them that it's not necessarily what they think it is, and they don't really have any noise ordinance that prevents us from applying for some other type of mitigation.
You were doing decibel counts out there. I think,
Yeah,
weren't you?
we have some information that the city does not have. And we found that the noise level and everything is not what they say it is, and that we're not really increasing the use at the park. So at a price of $60,000 to $70,000 for the sound barriers, we're going to go back to the city and ask about that condition be removed.
Yeah, I saw that in there. I appreciate you guys doing that.
Yeah, as a taxpayer and part of the Pigwell community, we really appreciate that.
Yeah. Sander State Park, the urban renewal funding request. I know Matt's probably aware of this and Jim, but Clay's gone to the Urban Renewal Agency in Dundee and asked for $1.1 million to help with the project on the Sanders Estate Park, but also the 5th Street improvements. It may help fund our parking lot as a city infrastructure, the water line that we're replacing for them down 5th Street.
Is the water line a requirement? Because it's not really. on the
No,
water
it's
line?
not a requirement, but there's another MOU that they're gonna pay the cost of that. And unbeknownst to us, and probably the city when they mentioned it at the time, they have no real plans on where that goes or what it does. So that'll come up in the project updates. There's been a lot of potholing going on 5th Street, so. Then he goes into legislative, you can read all that, that's pretty boring stuff. CPRD liaison roles, we have employees, we have board members assigned to different roles within the district, and just kind of goes through their county, Yamhill County, Jason Field, special districts, Jim McMaster, Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments, Jim and Brandon Slider. City of Newberg is Nick Conan. Newberg School District is Brandon Slider. Chelan Valley Commerce, Nick Conan. Dundee Committees, Jim McMaster and Matt Smith. So I think we got a lot of them covered and appreciate you guys for what you do. Citizen advisory committees, there's liaisons. Trails is Brandon. Pickleball, Nick Conan and Jim McMaster. Golf course clubhouse is Jason Fields and Jim McMaster. And the committee liaisons, financial and personnel is Brandon Slider and Jim McMaster. Recreation programming is Nick Conan and Jason Fields. Parks and development is Matt Smith and Jim McMaster. He goes on to mention the mailer, and I'm gonna let Pat speak to that, or he has. Round 3 of the Child Care Infrastructure Program. Business Oregon has announced that round 3 of the child care, this goes back to the Bonnie Benedict School. The application portal will close on or about December 16th, with an expected award notification date of February 17th. And our staff has reached out to the program's technical assistance for all the information for the ability to do that. Then he goes on to, I should mention this, and CPRD participates in the 2025-26 cohort of leadership Salem Academy, or Salem Valley Academy. September kicked off with a new cohort in the leadership Salem Valley program, which is facilitated by the Salem Valley Chamber of Commerce. This year, CPRD's Wendy Roberts, the aquatic coordinator, will be a member of the program's 25-26 program. So that's a 2-year commitment. It's kind of a day every month. And the second year, they get to become one of the leaders of that academy.
Yeah, it's good leadership training for them.
It is really good. I went through it a while back. My wife's gone through it. I think Clay went through it. So I think it's really good for one of our staffers to go through that. Forward-looking calendar. Update of Chehalem Park and Recreation's district strategic planning priorities, and that's be continued. Informational presentation related to the Chehalem Cultural Center. I think that's on the
They're coming next meeting, I think.
future board items. Informational presentation in our work session for system development charge methodologies. We're gonna relook at that. Citizens Advisory Committee update and affirmation of board of direction to CACs, whatever that is. What is that?
Citizen advisory committees.
Thank you. I don't know everything, I know that. And ongoing employee handbook updates, always, every year. Setting of budget calendar, budget officer appointment, district board, and other
Question,
updates.
I don't mean to interrupt. Do we have a date for the budget meeting this next year?
Not yet, that's what
Okay.
he's talking about.
Okay.
And I know Clay's, we've talked about this the last budget we were doing, trying to update the budget methodology to, instead of make it more modernized, to go through and make it budget so it flows better. There's been a lot of changes to some of the names in Springbrook. They don't always quite match what the budget says, so we're trying to make it more transparent to read through budget materials versus Springbrook. So, wanted to make that clear. My project updates, Jake with pickleball courts, they've made a entry road in there. They're staying within the one side of the park, so the other side's open, parking lot's open. They've cleared the area, took the trees down they needed to. They were excavating the site all this week. Found out that there was no fabric underneath the original gravel that was under the tennis courts, so we decided to use the existing gravel that we moved it all out of the way and put fabric down on both sections, the new stuff and the older area, and we're gonna use that gravel as a base. and then put new gravel on top and proof roll it and make sure it's ready for surfacing. And they seem to be working pretty quickly now. They were slow getting started, I can tell you that.
Did you talk to the consultant about using the gravel that was already there?
Yep, yep.
And that it wasn't?
They're fine with it.
Okay,
He talked to the engineers and,
okay.
yep. We did make a recommendation that they pull all the chunks of asphalt out that were intermixed. Because when they tore the other stuff out, there's
Yeah, that's what I was
broken
worried about,
pieces.
that it's tainted and not.
Yeah, but that's only gonna be a 6-inch base. Then there's another 4 that goes on top. So what they're gonna do is sift through the 6 inches and pull out all the bigger chunks. There's some in there, there's not a lot. But if they're anything bigger than 4 inches, I would say they need to come out. Cause that,
Are they hoping to pour the surface on the tennis courts prior to winter?
that's what the goal is, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd highly suggest we hold them to the original.
Yeah, and we have
Plan.
asphalt testing and things already in place, so whenever.
Has there been any digging for the pickleball courts, or has to
It's all,
wait until
no,
after?
they're all done with all the digging.
Right.
So the whole site's dug up,
So they're gonna be doing both of the pours
all at the same time.
together?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, all at the same
I
time.
don't wanna give them any leeway here, but again, if the weather comes in, not that it doesn't rain in Oregon, but if the weather comes in and.
If it gets too cold,
Yeah, it gets too cold, too shady, whatever,
yeah,
then we just need a quality product at the end of the day.
Mhm.
I mean, I'd like it done as fast as possible, but we don't wanna take.
only on the condition that it's gonna be the right conditions.
Yeah, so, even though I know we want it done as fast, I get that.
Yeah,
Well, it's a matter of them allocating enough resources to do it.
Right,
Because these excavation companies have multiple jobs they're doing and they phase them.
Mhm.
So if they prioritize getting us done, they can get us
well,
done.
that's why they wanna get the base down, and once they got gravel there, they can work on all the other stuff after.
well, I was out there
'Cause
today, and
they-
the contractor said that they would have the gravel down tomorrow,
Yeah, they're gonna test it tomorrow.
so we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I thought they weren't gonna make it, but this week they made a lot of progress. Sandra State Park, I don't know if y'all been out there and drove
Yeah.
past it. I've got pictures all.
It's pretty
um,
incredible.
They've done a lot of work out there, and they're starting to wanna work on the roads, and they've had meetings with Romtech and PG, and they're moving along really quickly, and been great to work with. I've worked with them before,
Yeah.
and, Glenn and all the crew out there. Glenn's kind of the supervisor on site, and awesome
I
to
didn't
work
look at
for.
their schedule, but does PGE have a schedule when they're gonna do those polls?
They're not waiting for PGE, they're waiting for Comcast and and they've been on them.
It's kind of the nature of the beast. isn't
It is. Because they don't get really quality answers from 'em. I mean, PGA is the leader, right? They do the design, so all the other utilities kind of hop on that design and use the same
Right,
thing. But they gotta let us know what conduits go where and what they go into, and that's kind of on them. And it's Comcast and Verizon or whatever that is. Ziply's the hard one.
no, I forgot, is that gonna be still overhead, or are we going underground?
Underground,
So we need to go across the street in several areas?
one.
Just one? Oh, good.
Well, 2 areas. Because one goes across and services 2 houses.
I saw that there's another one, yeah.
The other one goes across and the guy doesn't want to underground it, so it's going up a pole and into his house.
Okay,
Because
on his side.
on his side, yep. That wasn't our requirement.
No, but it'll make it a lot nicer looking for that to be underground and not.
Well, the pole comes up in his yard. It goes up the pole and out to his house.
That's on him. That's good.
That's on him. And I told him, I said, it'll be more expensive if we don't help you do that. Because we're not gonna pay for everything, but while it's on the ground, it's a lot easier to put it in the first time than having to strip it off a pole and bring everything. Because he has some meter charges, he'll have some, they gotta change the meter, they gotta do some electrical, and they gotta put a box in.
I'm just glad we're going underground and make it a lot
It will
nicer.
look nice, yeah. So all that's going really well. We're working on the bypass trail. We're still waiting for permits, but we're working on crane access and everything so that they can work during the wintertime. They're prepared to do that. As soon as we get all the permits, they're ready to go. So
Okay.
And what would,
there's a lot of permits.
what's the specific holdup? I mean, we're kind of a couple years into.
Well, because we were waiting for ODOT, because they're doing that. They've got all the trail ripped up. So we knew that. They were gonna have to replace it anyway.
Yeah.
And then just all the permits, seeing the Army Corps of Engineers. We've had some staff changes at Greenworks. And just the logistics of getting everything down there and sorted out for that bridge.
But they can
It's right at
build-
the end of an airport.
They can build the infrastructure part of that.
They
and
can.
then have it ready to pour in the spring or summer, potentially.
Well, concrete you can do anytime.
Concrete.
They gotta get the stuff down there, and it takes cranes and,
Okay.
yeah, it's a big structure. 600-foot long pedestrian bridge? Not really, but it's gonna take some doing. They're gonna need 2 cranes. They're gonna have access from both ends, so I think we're getting set up to do that.
Okay.
And that's it for me, and then there's other staff that can.
Kat, you have some,
Yeah, besides the mailer by your seats there, I gave you the updated copy of our latest edition of our Parks, Facilities, and Trails booklet. That's the most popular publication that we have. And this edition has a few new updates. The biggest ones are Sander Estate. I think that's page 28. You'll- Did I get
Yeah,
that right,
27,
Nick? I
28.
see 20, okay. That's in there. And we did remove Crabtree Park from this publication as well. And we updated the map on Bob and Crystal Riley Park. There's a table of contents, but that page number escapes me. So these are fresh off the press, and they're going into all of our facilities and at the trailheads. And Chamber of Commerce Visitors Center is a popular spot for those as well. And in your travels and your civic group meetings, anywhere else you go, if you would like to take some and help circulate them, just let me know, and I'll be happy to hook you up.
These are awesome, Kat.
Thank you.
Great job. Did you put this together?
I oversee it, yes, but I do work with Benchcraft Company on that.
Got
They
it.
do the
Yeah,
actual
they did a nice
design.
job.
this is the #1 brochure out of the chamber, I'm told.
So that's a guidebook. Our brochure there is the Discovery Map brochure, and that is the #1 brochure there. And that's by the door on your way out, but it's real similar to that, but it's a fold-out brochure. This is actually a saddle-stitched booklet.
Does this go to the chamber too?
That's what I'm, yes.
Okay, thank you. Julie? Julie.
Oh, sorry.
I'll use my coaching voice.
Oh, my God. Let's see. I was just reading Kat's book.
Microphone?
Like we are.
You need to come to the microphone though, please. I know.
All right. Let's see. Well, Kellen bought a new pickup. Let's see. Special services is it's our busiest time of year. You know, this summer we have so many kids that are participating in our programming, and it's really fun to see all the, you know, everybody out and about and participating and visiting the aquatic center. The golf course is packed. Kellen will talk about that, but it's just really, we just have such a great community, and we have a great staff, and so we have a really strong team. I think we really work together well. Let's see. We are we're bringing back the Camellia Festival this year. That'll be the second Saturday in April. And the festival has always been run by the Cultural Center, kind of. Brian has started it. He works so tremendously hard. And I think it's been the last 2 years, is that right? Since COVID, that we have not, or that the Cultural Center has decided that they, did not want to be involved in that. So we put a team together, and CPRD is going to take that over, and we're really excited about it. We're same place. We'll still have the run, but it's gonna be great. We're really excited about it. So Jim, you're looking at me like,
No, I think it's good. I think
Okay.
it's great. It's a great community.
Okay.
A lot of great plants are sold there.
Yeah.
I like it.
Absolutely. Brian has worked so tremendously hard. I hear from a lot of people in the community that they love that event. And so Brian and I, or Aaron Harrington is going to lead that team. Brian and I are in charge of each of our events, and so it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. We have a concession stand. Last board meeting, we were talking about Brian Smith and what a wonderful volunteer he is for our community, particularly the football program. He has worked. If you go out to, I think I mentioned this last time, but if you go out to Crater, you will see he has built 2 buildings for us to store our football equipment. Just a tremendous amount of time that he spent, and time and money out there. And what a great guy! He also renovated completely our concession stand that we use on Saturdays at our events. And so we've been making about $1,500 each Saturday for our sports programs. So I thought that was really, really nice, and I wanted to mention that. Casey mentioned the child care infrastructure grant. I'm going to be applying for that. I have about, I would say 6 webinars to take to prepare for that, to find out what we did well and what we didn't do well, right? Let's see. I want to shout out Amber for the audit. That's a big responsibility, and she's just really done a tremendous job gathering, all the information and really putting a lot of time into that. I really appreciate her doing that. Let's see what else. Thank you for mentioning the activity reports. We're going to get even better next month. We wanted to see how this, the activity reports that are in there now, how they look, and we're going to make them even better next month. And I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I think we got an email about the BMX track is hosting, is it a regional or a national event?
It's a state.
It's a state.
BMX.
And
yeah.
that is the end of this month, right?
Right. Yeah. The email was just telling us that they're good. What a great honor.
Yeah,
This
Saturday.
weekend,
This
yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, what a great honor. That is the perfect example of CPRD and a volunteer organization working together. And what an asset for our kids and for our community. So we do have soccer games out at Rennie Field at that time, so it's going to be pretty busy, but a fun busy, right? We're used to that. As programmers, we do a lot of that, right? So
And this is the first time that we've had the state championship or regional championship
Yeah.
in the BMX, I think. So
Yeah.
I think
It'll be
that's what
a
they
fun
said.
event.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, they put a lot of money into that, a lot of time, a lot of sweat equity. And they're a fun group to work with too, So, any questions for me?
Yeah, on the BMX, it's great when these volunteer organizations contact us and tell them what they're doing. It was just really, refreshing to find that out and them inviting us. So I really appreciate, like Matt was saying, I really appreciate their volunteerism because they wouldn't be able to hold the state tournament here if it wasn't a quality facility.
Yeah.
So, are they bringing in extra porta potties for that? Because it's going to be crazy.
We do.
I hope so, yeah.
Just something to think about. Ryan
Yeah.
might be able to say.
Yeah, but how neat, on a weekend to see that going on, and then we have just right down the road soccer,
Yeah,
and
it's
you go to
gonna be great.
Jakewith, and we have, soccer going on, and you go out to Crater, and we have football practice going on, and you know, our coordinators, I'm so proud of them. They really are a good team, you know? So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Stewart, Park Supervisor. Some of the groups, yes, work directly with the BMX group. Yes, annually, we have hosted before the state championships down there, which is awesome. And that's a testament to, like Jim said, the working together and the condition of that course for sure. The district helps support that event too by bringing in wash stations and ADA bathrooms and extra porta potties down there, which is our pleasure to do that. It's great for the community, obviously. Another group, a lot of focus on Ewing this past year, and which is a lot of fun. But working directly with a new disc golf, it's not a committee, but a lot of volunteers. Several of them play nationals. One gentleman is ranked 7th right now in the tournament that just took place back east, and his father's involved in it. And then there are several locals. And then we have some tournament directors too. We all got together and we were walking the course and looking for ways that we can improve it for all users from all levels too. So their input and with all the maybe landscape cleanup and rejuvenation that we've been doing down there on the trails in the park is really exciting. So it's a new shot in the arm. And if you haven't been down to Ewing Young Park lately, I'd suggest you do that. It's transforming daily. Another group I'm working with, directly staff is with the skateboard community down there, and helping develop the course too. As you know, it's 20 some odd years old, that wonderful skate park. It's still in great shape, needs some TLC, and we've been putting that towards that, as you know, and we're going to continue to do that. And that too is another opportunity to work directly with those groups and to bring in tournaments and events that are great for the whole community. And another opportunities for revenue generating too. They help bring back funds. They help support that organization too, and that group. Working with another group up at the Riley property. Met today with the foundation. They have a separate 501c foundation up there, and they approached the staff, and they have funds that they've raised, quite a bit of funds, and they'll come and speak to that. But we're going to work directly with our first priority, working with this group and staff, of course, is to make the trails year-round use. That's always been part of the master plan and a goal, right? And so we're making big leaps and strides there, and it's starting tomorrow. We get our first load of hog fuel up there. But there's going to be equipment that's donated and staff and a lot of hands, and working with producing gravel and the hog fuel, and literally hog fueling the whole east side, which could take upwards of its 216 units. So that's 16 and a half truckloads at 14 units per truck, and the gravel too. Go ahead, Chairman McMaster.
Just on the hog fuel part, that is made up of, just for public information,
Oh,
that's
it's,
made out
yeah,
of.
no hogs are involved in the making of the hog fuel.
I just want to make
And,
sure that the public understands it.
It's the remnants of the tree, you know, basically it includes the bark, the fibers, and it's not processed all the way down to that, say that, that nice fur you get or whatever when you bark dust your lawn. But it's thicker chips, and it's perfect for trails. It works awesome, and it's on all our trails. We have it in our dog park too, and it's very good there. It makes a great surface for equestrians and walkers and stuff like that. And it's affordable as opposed to, a lot more affordable, as opposed to it'd be like $140 a unit for processed fur, and it's $95 we can get straight from the mill in Lyons. So with our relationship there. Yes, sir.
Hey, Brian, you know, I was driving by Bob and Chris Riley Park last week, and I saw that it was closed already, the one side.
Nothing is
Did I
closed
see
there.
something wrong?
Was the gate
Different?
closed, or
Yeah,
you-
the gate was closed, and it said it was.
Was it dust?
Closed for the season, I think is what it said.
I don't believe you're at the right park, to be honest with you.
That could be. Well, it
No,
was-
he is, because it's at the picnic area kind of up above there, that gate's been closed, I mentioned it to Clay, but it says closed for the season, and that was even 2 months ago.
Yeah, and it
Oh,
looks like it
that must
hasn't
be,
been-
was there a sign on the gate or something?
Yeah.
or- My apology then, so when they're closing the gate, that is a sign from last,
Okay,
okay, because I was just up there this morning, but,
okay.
yeah, I would definitely
I
look
was
into
really
that.
shocked to see, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
man, it's beautiful out here.
Right, we don't, my apologies, I'll make sure
Okay.
that has been rectified. Evidently, we left a sign hanging there or something
Well, I
like that.
can say that sometimes in the summer, we had closed that because of fire danger.
Sure.
So maybe that's another
This-
reason to think.
Yeah, this would have been the case. I think this was just operator error on our part, to be honest with you. So I'll take the hit for that. Some of the other things we're working on, you might have seen the new asphalt projects that went in at Crater Ball Fields out there at Ewing Young, or at CB. So those trails turned out really nice. We did overlays at Memorial Park too.
Billy.
And then that turned out very well also. Just staff working busy, working directly with, trying to keep up with sports on all the fields. The football field, we put a lot of energy into that at CB this past year, and it needed it, and it's been improved quite a bit. Chasing a lot of voles, and it's really hard to do, chase a vole. And moles you can capture and get, but the little voles are like chipmunk size or whatever. And shrews, learn what a shrew is, but it's not taming of the shrew. There's a little tiny animal that's called a shrew. But, so those could be a problem too. And just buttoning down going forward.
Sorry, can I say something about that? Out at Darnell Wright, if you.
Out at Darnell Wright, if you visit that property, it's really amazing. We have football practices going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They practice in the outfields of the softball fields out there. On weekends, we have soccer practices going on in the football field above it. We have softball games going on every Saturday and Sunday still. And so there is so much activity out there, and really, a need for Rennie Field, maybe. But your group is working so hard, but it's just really, really busy, It's fun to see it, all the kids out there. It does get used a lot, though, so.
Anything else? Getting late. We're good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
I haven't seen the fellow that's coming up now, but it's really impressive to have him here.
Well, it's been a busy summer, but it's winding down. We are still busy out there and losing a lot of staff to back to school, whether it's students or we have a lot of teachers that work out at the golf course too. So shoulder season's a little bit tough to get through, but we're surviving. And we're gonna aerate, the maintenance staff will aerate the greens and tee boxes next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be closed. Usually we do that a few weeks earlier, but they're waiting on a piece of equipment, and it's turned out good because the weather's been great, and we've had a lot of golfers out there. So we do have 2 more tournaments in October coming up, so we'll hope for good weather for them. And I'm just excited that we made a selection, or a selection was made for the golf course clubhouse feasibility study, and excited to work with Michael and his team moving forward. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Kellen.
Yeah. Okay, we don't have any citizen comments that I know of. And so with that said,
Quick question. Wanted to clarify November board meeting date. Will we be meeting in November?
No, the board typically does not meet in November due to Thanksgiving, and it does not meet on the fourth Thursday in December due to Christmas. The holiday schedule is typically to meet the first Thursday in December, so that meeting is scheduled for December 4th.
Thank you.
Yes.
okay, with that said then, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Barry, thank you for coming. Appreciate the county